Hello and welcome to another video. In this video, I will be covering some more questions from players under my Q&A section of videos. The first video we're going to start with will be the question about the Alliance City encounter, which is called Bandit Chase. Now, Bandit Chase show up randomly in your Alliance City. There can be many different levels. Level 1, Level 2, Level 3 and Level 4. Higher levels are unlocked through the tech tree. When you go through the tech tree for Explorer's Quarter, you can unlock higher levels of the Bandit Chase. Now, the main difference between Level 1 and Level 4, for example, of the Bandit Chase, is of course amount of goods it provides you when you win it, as well as how much power do you need to complete it for 3 chests. Power is accumulated for you by Explorer's Quarter, which you also unlock through the tech tree Explorer's Quarter and upgrade your Explorer's Quarter. As you see, you can start it by clicking Start Chase. If you click anywhere else, you can just cancel it. You see, and it doesn't start because each alliance plans when you can start it. Usually when Alliance Incident Bandit Chase shows up, you got 8 hours to start it, so you don't have to start it right away. You can plan your time, you can start it 3 hours, 4 hours, even 6-7 hours later if your alliance members are busy. Just plan your time like all the rest of the alliances do and start it only when you know that your alliance members are ready to go for it and win it. In this particular case, this is the Bandit Chase level 2. And now here, as you can see, you need 1,800 power points to unlock chest level 3, which provide us 50 gears, a selection kit where you can select either 5 research points for your main city, either research points for Alliance City, kit for choosing goods for Alliance City, 5 of them. It will provide either 100 tiles, 75 wood or 50 stone. Now, and then it will give you food and gold as well on the decent amount. That's why you want to always complete it to the max. As you see, when we started it, here were a lot of pluses and I just clicked on one space and just joined the Bandit Chase, that's it. Now your power at the moment, which is provided to you by your Explorer's Quarter on the level you are at now, is shown on the top of your screen when you open the Bandit Chase. Mine at the moment is 165 per hour. But you can join only for 20 minutes and then you have to do rejoins in order to continue growing this power scale. It's right in the middle under the chests, you can see the power scale. You have to dedicate your power to this scale and when it fills you win and the Bandit Chase is over. Now, if you don't finish it on time, it will just disappear. You have 4 hours to complete it once you started it, and you can join for 20 minutes. So it often requires people to do as much rejoins as they can just to accumulate that necessary power. So this 165 per hour, it's per hour. So when you join Bandit Chase, just divide your number on 3 and you will know how much you gain for 20 minutes of bandit chasing. Now in my case it's gonna be 55. I have 165 per hour, that means 55 per 20 minutes I produce power to the scale. We will now continue with providing tips and tricks for new players and answering common questions here. Now let's talk about event buildings, like for example this one, Mosaic Bath. These buildings take a lot of space in your city. As you see, this one in particular takes 4 on 4, so 16 squares it takes to have it in your city. And first, when you start the game, you will not have a lot of space. Now, I do not recommend to buy these extra tiles. You can unlock them for free. You see, I earned one, so I can click on unlock. My workers will unlock some more in 1 hour 40 minutes. Towards the end game, you will have a lot of space. You will unlock most of your map of your city and you will not need these extra tiles. But what you need at the first you can just remove them. These buildings can be safely removed because you see the icon, it's not for sale. You just return it to the inventory and in your inventory you will see all the buildings you have which you did not place. And if you store that building, it will show up here. So don't worry about removing it, but first be sure to build all the buildings that are actually necessary to progress, to complete quests, to finish an era so you can advance further. And then if you have free space, just put those event buildings for little or many extra goods, bonuses, RPs per day. Why not if you have free space? Like I now have 3 full squares empty and I have nothing to build there in Minoan era, so I can easily go to my inventory and place something like Great Garden, for example. It's huge, you see, it takes almost 2 squares. How huge that is. So you can put it like here and enjoy it in your city. Question is about how to advance era. Now, my advice to you would be to advance era a certain way. I will tell you now how is that. When you finish an era, you're in the middle of allied culture, for example here with the Egypt, and in classic Greece the Egypt will end. Now, in the middle of your allied culture, be sure to stay in between them and just collect resources for more smooth gameplay. When you transit to the next era, you would need to stay here in between these. But when you, for example, finish classic Greece and you have unlocked Egyptian consensus or Mayan consensus or China consensus, that means this allied culture is over and you will not go for it anymore. If you finished all the upgrades and everything, you finished all the quests, advance as fast as possible to the next. Because the only point to stay in between eras to collect resources is when you are in the middle of an allied culture. You might not feel as much during Egypt times, but you will feel the difference when you will be at the end of Byzantine, when there is Mayan. Mayans are very hard to complete, and therefore, if you stay in Byzantine long enough to produce enough resources, collect a lot of cocoa, jade, and other stuff you will need for Mayans, Age of Ranks will be easy for you. It will be smooth and easy. Just don't rush in between allied cultures. That makes a lot of sense in every allied culture you go to. But when the allied culture is over and you unlocked consensus and you finished all the quests and everything you could do, there is no point to stay, because you will not need the resources of this allied culture anymore. You just can advance. There is no point to stay. One more question was about alliance member count. Now, standard in your alliance can be only 20 members. But if you go to your alliance city and you upgrade residential quarter every 5 levels will allow you to add 1 more member to your alliance. Residential quarter is useful for 2 things and 2 things only. It provides you a space for 1 more person in your alliance to join, as well it gives you these hammers. Now these hammers work just the same way the power works in the Explorer quarter, but it needed to upgrade buildings in the Alliance city. Now when you upgrade something, for example now this main hub is going through an upgrade, you need to donate these hammers. In my case at the moment I produce 160 hammers per hour, which means 53.3 during 20 minutes if we count by Bandit chase time, but here you join for 2 hours. When you join upgrade, you join for 2 hours. So that means you make, in my case I would make 320 per 1 join. And when the scale is complete, the building is upgraded. You also might want to have more people in your alliance. More people means more hands, more easy to complete Bandit chases, a lot of different cool stuff you can do when you're many. More people joins the upgrade, more people joins production. What you want to do is just upgrade residential quarter. You would need to upgrade the building itself and research the necessary tech to get more people in your alliance. The next question is about how to acquire research points. This question will be easily answered through many different aspects. First of all, you accumulate by 1 point per hour on the auto. You just don't have to do anything, the game accumulates you 1 research points per hour. Up to 10 if you don't spend them, and then this timer stops. It's on the bottom left of your screen. Now, you can also collect event buildings, like I have here for example. Some of the buildings give you research points. Not all of them, but some of them. For example, This one gives me research points. This is this Celtic broth. I can get up to 5 research points if I'm extremely lucky this day from it. Now this is actually kinda nice and decent extra boost. What you can do else, except for wonders, of course, is the Pirate Fortress. Pirate Fortress at max level gives you 5 research points per day, which is absolutely amazing, not bad at all. Then you can use buildings like school. It's the only building at the moment, except for even buildings. Now school will produce you at max level. It will go for 8 hours production time, 4 workers needed, and you can get up to 10 if you're extremely lucky of the research points out of here. There are also even buildings like this where you have to put production. I don't really like these because they take my workers, and usually even buildings are just stationary and they never needed any workers to produce something. But yeah, we have these kind of buildings as well, unfortunately, but I still keep it on production just to have this extra chance to get some extra research points per day. Of course, you can get research points as rewards in the monthly pass, in the events, like literally everywhere. But one thing in particular I want to show you is the wonders. Now wonders can give you research points. For example, if you have Abu symbol, it will give you 1 research point per day plus 1 for each active statue. And since I'm all going for military wonders, most of them are statue, so I get benefit. You can raise it up for up to 7. Now what you want to do is, for example, it's a Great Wall, it also produces you research points, 1 for extra fortress. Now as you see, symbol needs statues, a Great Wall needs fortress. What you want to do, you go to actives, and just the minute before you collect goods from Abu symbol, you put all around statues here, and leave Abu symbol here. Then you go to Abu symbol and collect the price. So you just do it for 1 minute, and then you can change your layout the way you like it, and that's how you maximize the production, because these wonders will give you research points according to the amount of statue wonders or fortress wonders. It will provide you research points just the moment you click on collecting from Abu symbol when you open it. So if you don't do it and before in the actives you put necessary wonders, like for example for Abu symbol you put all around statues, and then you click on Abu symbol, even if those wonders were not there for the all 24 hours, you will still get the maximum RP points from this wonder. Same goes for Great Wall. Now, when you need these RP points from here, you just go to active, switch everything to fortress for 1 minute, just everything you have you switch to fortress, as much fortress as possible, and then you go to overview and click on the Great Wall to collect resources, and you will get the maximum amount possible you can get from it. Now in my case, as you see now, it shows that I'll get like 1 RP point, just 1, because I don't have any active fortresses. But then the moment I have 12 hours to prepare for this, but the moment the timer runs out here, and I will see in my small tab here, you can see when your wonders will produce. They will show green when they produced. So when they produced and they show green, you go to active, switch everything to fortress and collect from Great Wall. And you're very happy with the amount of research points. So don't waste them. It takes you 1 minute to switch all the wonders and then put them back. The next question is what to do when you, for example, have only 4 domestic farms. You don't need more because quests require you only 4 and you only upgrade 4 till the max. They're quite costly to upgrade. So I don't need any more, they take a lot of space as well. Now, if I have only 4 of them, but I need to put customizations because I have tons of customizations for these domestic farms. Okay, so what you want to do, when your domestic farms are occupied with customization or any other farm or any other buildings, you might need extra just to put those customizations on. Never build your era buildings. Why? Because they're costly. And for the customizations, it makes no difference at all. Now, if you go to farms, you see, to build a domestic farm, I would need to spend 22 million gold, 9 million food, and other resources. So there is completely, literally no point to build it. Now, what you want to do, because you will still destroy it in the end, you go to Stone Age. You click here on the Stone Age, and you see domestic farm, 40 gold, 10 food, yeah, right? So you just put it here, just say yes, 15 seconds, it's gonna be built, and the game will accept it, just put a customization on it, and that's it. This is what you wanna do, you save a lot of resources. In 3 seconds now I will have my domestic farm. You see, perfect, domestic farm, done. And now I can go to my inventory and put a customization on it. And it will count as the customization from my era because I acquired it in my era. But it will be put on the Stone Age farm and you will save a lot of resources because in the end they take too much space, and when you don't need it you just click on sell it and you sell it. But it will be on the Stone Age farm. You'll be very happy, you don't waste your resources, customization will run out over time, and just because they take too much space you can just sell it and you lose like 30 gold and 15 food. It's not like you lose millions, right? So this makes sense. If you need more domestic farms and you need to put customizations on them, just build Stone Age farms. Who cares? You still get the same bonuses from customizations and you can easily remove it when you don't need it in the end. Next question is in the World Wonders section. The question is how to craft orbs so you can stack them up on the top of your screen without using them. Now, in order to do that, all you need to do is click on this circle with an orb and craft as many as you like. And then when you finish crafting, they will just show up here. They will not be used at the same time. But if you click on an event and click craft, they will be used just the same second. How to donate your research points, materials, any kind of goods to your ally, and how to donate on his favorite wonder so you can do proper RP exchange or something like that. You just go to the Alliance tab. You find necessary member of your alliance you want. For example, we'll take this one, and here you can see here 2 clicks can be clicked. First is alliance requests only, right? It should be on, but if you select a person from your alliance, it will only show him or her. And you can click on favorites. If you click favorites, it will show only the favorite wonder of the person with which you do the RP exchange. If you don't click favorites, it will show all the wonders and materials these persons requested to help. That's it. Very, very simple to help your ally in your alliance and find favorites just by one tick. The next question is how to acquire customizations from previous events. For example, event started, right? And you go to your customizations and you see like, oh, I missed Cozy Parasol and Saffron Bed, yeah. Something like that happened. Well, how can you get them after event ends is pretty much random but simple. Now, these customizations show up in the monthly pass. When you go to rewards, you can find these chests. Now here, for example, this month, it will give me random Persian event building from this chest here. The main difference if you buy this golden ticket or not is just in the gold ticket you can select which upgrade you want, which customization you want, but in the free one you cannot choose. It's random, it's fair. You can get each one from these 4 available at the moment in this chest. Now these chests happen to have here very often. You see like there is a second one, there is the third one, and the 4th one, 5th one, 6th one, and so on. There are 6 in total here. In total there are 6, and you can get them through that monthly pass. Just check what they provide each month and open the chest and hope you get what you need. But since you have 6 chests to open, you have high chances to get the exact customizations you need, even on the free pass. Now, basically there is no other way to get them unless there are some promotions running and something like that. Also, in the events, for example, now we have this Persian event, you have to know that not all of the customizations are acquired through these grand prizes or collecting like maximum points or whatever. Here, most of the people go only for this one, right? The maximum one. It is correct way to do it because you acquire everything a lot faster, but not the only way. Now, on the second one, if you go for the second one, usually it will show up 1 or 2 customizations which are not available any other way for this particular event. So every event, be sure to check all the time on the info, the first and the second, but usually it's the second, and you will see that there will be showing some customizations that you might need, so you will have to roll for the second one for many times until you finally reach the necessary customization you need from that. Now, one more thing As I do not recommend buying expansion tiles for diamonds that you collect freely throughout the gameplay, I recommend usually building luxury houses for workers. That's probably the top priority here. Then we can go for luxury, a farm, because you will need it to complete some quests easier, just quality of life improvement. Of course, luxury culture sites, but I never recommend buying these expansion tiles for gems. But remember, if you buy something in game, for example, luxury house, you will encounter some difficulties later on. For example, no space to build, and etc and etc. And if you sell luxury houses, any kind of buildings, they will not refund you with the diamonds. They will give you just low amount of food and gold, that's it. So you will never sell them, and therefore you might encounter problems if you buy like a lot of them. At first, in the early eras, you might encounter that you don't have space. So keep in mind, if you start buying something, the game will eventually make you buy everything. Now, if you buy like a luxury house, as I said, okay, if you're like me now, middle of Minon, you will have free space for it. But later on, you will have some other buildings you will need to build, you would want to build, and you need space for them. So that will lead you to buying expansion tile, at least one, definitely the first, because you would want to keep everything you have, right? And then these houses, they provide decent amount of gold and stuff, and you would want to boost happiness for them, but without losing happiness for all of your city, right? So that will lead you to luxury culture site. And of course, luxury farms. Once you get one, you will feel the difference. So be careful with that. It's nothing wrong here. I totally supporting the game I like, if you can do it and if you want to do it. The only difference you're going to get with these luxury houses, culture sites and farms is that you will just progress faster and smoother. If you have a lot of these luxury farms, you will less likely have a lot of food problems, because they produce like double more than your usual farms at least, and if you boost them happiness, they're like extremely good. So you will feel the difference. It doesn't break up the gameplay, nothing wrong here, but it will just help you out to progress faster and get less stuck. But as I told you, if you stop advancing in the middle of Allied Culture era and just collect resources, you will encounter no problems at all. Like when I finished early Rome, back in the day I used to be playing this game, I stopped. And I stopped for like a month, because I was completely new to the game. I always had problems with food and gold, stuff like that. So I just stopped there for months, maybe even for 2. But I enjoyed my time. I just collected resources. Everything was upgraded to the max of early Rome. At early Rome was the easiest to me to make Alliance Treasure Hunt 60. Those battles were easiest ever I played. Even now in the endgame when I have wonders and new army from Sicilian, still they are a lot harder. When I was early Rome, those battles were swift, easy and fast, and I could done Alliance Treasure Hunt a lot faster, a lot easier than now. Yeah, so I enjoyed that time. So this game is about patience, and if you don't rush, if you just collect resources, get yourself ready, and then advance to finish the Allied Culture, you will encounter no problem. Remember to stop only in the middle of Allied Culture, and when the Allied Culture is over, you rush to the next era straight away when you finish all the quests. Now on this note, I thank you all for watching. Be sure to hit a like, leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you on my next videos.